Is being passionate about something really a good reason to start a business, or is that pie in the sky, impractical foolishness? This is actually a question that I get asked a lot online, and I get challenged on the fact that my business is called Life with Passion. And so it's something that I wanted to come here and unpack a little bit for you today. So my name's Christine McAllister. If we haven't yet met, I'm the Huffington Post featured founder of Life with Passion, and I help high achieving, motivated, entrepreneurial women to quit and stay out of their jobs and build businesses that they love. So if you're joining me for the first time, or if you're not yet a part of my amazing Facebook community, Life with Passion Society, my private Facebook group, I'd love to have you join me there. And I am going to quickly share this with those ladies. As of the time of this recording, there are over 1,200, and I can say that it is truly a unique and super, super supportive and engaged group. I'd love to have you be a part of it. And if you're joining me live or on the replay, now that you know a little bit about me, I'd love for you to say hi and share what you are working on or what you're dreaming of starting. So, is passion really a good reason to start a business, right? Or is it foolish? Or is it like just I don't know, a pipe dream, right? It's so interesting because I have been asked this question multiple times. And just this morning, an article that I published called These 2 Questions Will Help You Quit Your Job got a comment on it from a pretty popular writer over on Medium. And he said that he disagreed with my approach, and that, I'm just pulling it up to read it here, that he believed that it should be a very thoughtful, rational, logical decision instead of relying on passion to be an entrepreneur. And you need to be logical, and you need to follow this very specific progression of steps. And if you do that, then you can make the decision as to whether you want to quit and go full-time with your dream. And so I thought that was really interesting, and it reminded me of getting asked this question other times, right? Like, really, do you really think it's important to be passionate about what you're doing? Or do you think anybody can be an entrepreneur and they don't have to be passionate about it? And so I want to address that because I think it's a really important conversation. And the answer is yes to all of it. Yes, you can be an entrepreneur who's passionate and build a business that you love. And yes, you can be an entrepreneur who isn't particularly passionate about the business that they're creating, but wants to live the entrepreneurial life or have the profit potential of being an entrepreneur, the freedom, the flexibility it brings. And neither one is more right than the other. Okay? Neither one of them is more right than the other. But in my particular brand of entrepreneurship and in the women I work with, what I see is a real desire to be doing actual work that you love, in addition to building a business that allows you to live the life, have the lifestyle, have the income that you love. And I think a lot of times that is where we start to hear people tell us things like, that's not practical, right? Like, who makes money doing XYZ, right? Or like, that sounds like a pyramid scheme, or trying to think of like some of my favorites. Oh, it must be nice for you, but like, I could never do that, right? I would love to do that, but like, you're so lucky that you can because XYZ perception of why, you know, I can or they couldn't. I think that what's really important to note here is if you are watching this, you are probably somebody who loves the work that they're doing on the side or has an idea of the business they want to build doing something that they love, and also maybe is doubting it's possible because of the things that you heard. Thank you for the emojis. I love them. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what I want to answer your questions around. So live or on the replay, I want you to drop them below. Like if you've heard people say things like that to you, if you've heard someone else's voice in your head say things like that to you, I'll be totally transparent. I was having a conversation with my husband over dinner and telling him what I was going to talk about. And he said, I mean, you don't really think that, do you? I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about, is passion really a good reason to start a business? And he said, well, it's not, right? And I'm just sharing that because it's so funny, because I just kind of looked at him and I was like, this whole business that I've been running, like it's a 6-figure business that I'm running, and I've been running it for 2 years, and like have helped all these women change their lives and create their success stories. And over 70% of my clients have quit their jobs, and like, it's called Life with Passion. And we unpacked it a little bit more, and he wound up totally agreeing with me. But I think where he was coming from was this idea of like, is passion, being really passionate about something, a reason to walk into your boss's office tomorrow and be like, I'm done, I'm out? And I would say no, because I think that for me and for the entrepreneurs I work with and the community of Life with Passion entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, the starting point is passion, right? We have a desire to do something that we love, that we feel is meaningful, that's going to make a difference in the world. But that's not the only thing we talk about. That's not the only thing we think about. Okay, we're passionate about something. Okay, now we start looking at the strategies, right? So what I work with on my clients is not so much the passion, like they come to me with passion, right? We work on simple strategies and self-belief to build a business out of that passion. So a lot of times, if we've been really, really focused on the simple strategies, or maybe even just strategy, maybe we've been opting into every free thing and trying to figure out how to grow a bunch of traffic or design the perfect website or utilize a certain platform to drive us a bunch of ideal customers who are just going to like throw their credit cards at us, right? And I think sometimes there's this perception that like once you put your website out there, like people are instantly going to find you. People are instantly going to want to sign up to buy your product or your service. And so much of it is a sort of a longer game than that, right? It's simple strategies. It's showing up consistently. It's choosing a platform that works for you, where you can reach your ideal audience that you like, and crafting messaging around that that's compelling, and being very clear on your niche, and designing products, packages, and services that are aligned and valued and priced correctly, and like all of these strategies, right? And then there's this other piece that's self-belief, or a confidence or lack thereof, right? Or a fear of failure. Caitlin says, I wish, haha, right? Like when that people would just, you throw up your website and people just like come pounding down your door, right? But I think that's a myth that a lot of people kind of like perpetuate, right? This is Italian sparkling water, lemon raspberry flavored, by the way. It's delicious. So I think that passion is an amazing starting point. The way that I would answer this is like, maybe there are two different types of entrepreneurs. Ones who want to do actual work that they're really passionate about and build a business that they're passionate about, and others who just are like, I'll pick a business I think is like strategically makes a lot of sense. Doesn't really matter if I love it or not. And this is going to allow me to have the life that I want. But I'm going to spend a lot of my time doing something that maybe I don't really care that much about. And that's fine. Like it's your choice, right? But what the kind of businesses that we build are ones that are out of our passions, out of our unique gifts, out of our interests, where we are spending time, doing things that we naturally love, right? So we come into it with this natural passion, and then we put simple strategies around it. We focus down so that we are not constantly like overwhelming ourselves with every freebie in the world, or like spinning our wheels, or like throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. We are being smart. We are being strategic. I was working with a client this week who was like, it feels really weird not to be working 80 hours a week on this. Like I'm doing enough, like what I'm doing is working, but like it almost feels like I should be doing something else, because like, can it be this easy, right? And not that it's easy, but just that like When you're smart about it, you don't have to work, from sunrise to midnight to build your business, to build your audience. It's just not necessary. And beyond the simple strategies is this other part of self-belief. So most of us know if we're like holding ourselves back because we're afraid of what other people are going to think of us. We're afraid of criticism. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of like negative feedback. We're not sure that this is the right thing for us. What if, nobody wants what I have to sell? What if nobody wants to pay me? What if I'm a fraud? Like all of those types of things, right? So I think sometimes that, sometimes entrepreneurs are like, oh, I know all the strategies. That's not a problem for me, but I'm terrified to put myself out there, right? And so in that case, we want to look at and focus on the self-belief piece, the confidence piece, right? If you're like, I have all the confidence in the world, but I have no idea how to use, let's say, Facebook, since that's, what we're participating in live here, right? Then it's a simple strategies piece, right? But I think a lot of times people are like, they kind of equate, like, if I'm passionate about this, then either it should work instantly or like I'm not allowed to be passionate about it and build a business that I love because that would be impractical. And I'm just really here to bust that myth, because the truth is there's never been a better time to start a business with our interwebs, right? Like there's a very low barrier to entry in terms of starting up a business when you're starting one online, and it has never been easier. But here's the thing. A lot of times we stop ourselves because of what's going on up here, right? Or maybe it's a lack of knowledge. Maybe it's a lack of strategic knowledge. But you can totally build a business that you are passionate about by starting with a passion, starting with a big why, and coming back, adding on to that simple strategies and self-belief or confidence, right? Getting over that fear of failure, stopping letting fear control you anymore, and starting to show up and be visible in a way that connects you to your ideal clients and gets you that traction. So I'd love to hear your questions about this, because I think it's such a deep topic, such an interesting topic, something that so many of us are totally up in our heads about, like, and shaming ourselves for, right? Or saying we're just dreamers, or like we're not practical or whatever. And I'm just really here to challenge that. Like, if you have something that you're passionate about, then why not you, right? Why not now? When you start taking action and you add simple strategies and self-belief to those, then you start to get traction. You do. And if you don't have the traction that you want, then it's time to look and see what piece of those is missing. And I'd love if you commented below. I'd love if you shared where you are right now, what you think you might need more of, where you think you're rocking it, and what you're passionate about. Let's start a conversation about this and see who joins in, and let's share our businesses with each other and network and grow in this way. So thank you for joining me. My name is Christine McAllister. I'm the founder of Life with Passion. I hope you'll join me over in Life with Passion Society, my private Facebook group, if you're not there already. And I hope that you will give yourself permission that passion is a fantastic starting point and reason to start a business, and that you'll look at adding simple strategies and self-belief on top of that to get you the traction you desire and the results you want. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon.